On December 15, 1967, 46 people died in 13 seconds, and the only witness nobody talks about had wings. The Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Ohio didn't just fail. It collapsed during rush hour, sending cars and bodies into the freezing Ohio River below. The official investigation blamed metal fatigue, a fractured eye-bar in the suspension chain. But here's what they didn't emphasize. For 13 months before that collapse, something had been seen in the skies above Point Pleasant, something that shouldn't exist. Rewind to November 1966. Two young couples are driving along an abandoned TNT plant on the outskirts of town. It's late, dark, the kind of night where you notice everything. That's when they see it, a gray, man-shaped figure with wings folded against its back, 10 feet tall, eyes red as brake lights. They drive faster. It follows. They called it the Mothman, not because anyone knew what it was, but because its wings moved like a moth's, erratic, hypnotic. The couple reported it to police. Most officers dismissed them as pranks or hysteria, but the sightings didn't stop, they accelerated. Over the next year, more than 100 reports flooded in. Construction workers, businessmen, a fireman, all describing the same impossible thing, a creature 7 to 10 feet tall with a 10-foot wingspan and eyes that glowed. It appeared near the bridge, near homes, near schools. What would you have done? Called the National Guard, fled the town. Point Pleasant's population was barely 8,000. Panic spread faster than any explanation could contain it. Gun sales spiked. Vigilante groups formed to hunt the creature. The press descended. Life magazine, national television. Suddenly, this small Ohio Valley town was the center of something that science couldn't categorize and religion couldn't comfort. Skeptics had answers, of course. A sandhill crane, they said, an escaped eagle, a barn owl with reflective eyes. But sandhill cranes don't fly at night, eagles don't hover. And no owl, no matter how reflective, leaves witnesses describing a humanoid torso in methodical, purposeful movement. The sightings clustered around two locations, the TNT plant and the Silver Bridge itself. Former munitions factory, abandoned structures, rusted chains, and the bridge, the one that would collapse, became a hotspot for nocturnal visitors. Families reported seeing the creature perched on the bridge's superstructure, watching, waiting. Then came November 16, 1966. A construction foreman named Newell Partridge reported seeing the creature near his home. His dog went berserk. Partridge grabbed a rifle. He fired. The creature didn't flinch. It simply turned and flew away, straight toward the Silver Bridge. Partridge's account was documented. It was specific. It was terrifying. For 13 months the sightings continued. Then they stopped, abruptly. No final encounter, no dramatic farewell, just silence. And on December 15, 1967, exactly 13 months after the initial report, the Silver Bridge failed. 46 people died, 46. The investigation determined it was metal fatigue. An eye-bar in the suspension chain had fractured under stress. Metallurgists confirmed it. Engineers agreed. The case was closed. The Mothman was forgotten, or was it? Here's where it gets complicated. The eye-bar that failed, investigators found it had been cracked for years, perhaps decades, not a sudden break, a slow failure. So why did it fail on that specific day? Why December 15th? Some researchers noted that the bridge's final inspection, just weeks before the collapse, had cleared it as safe. That inspection was later criticized as insufficient, but the structural weakness existed long before Mothman appeared. So here's the real question. Was the creature a harbinger, a warning, or coincidence wrapped in fear? The evidence splits into two categories. The sightings themselves, over 100 documented reports from credible witnesses. Construction workers, police, families. These people had no reason to lie. They were terrified, but terror doesn't prove existence. Fear doesn't create facts. The bridge collapse, on the other hand, is provable. Metal fatigue is measurable. The failure was inevitable. But the timing, 13 months to the day after the first sighting, that's where coincidence becomes harder to swallow. Most rational explanations for Mothman fall apart under scrutiny. The misidentification theories don't account for sustained sightings or the creature's apparent intelligence. But supernatural explanations require accepting something that defies everything we know about biology and physics. What remains is this: Point Pleasant witnessed something. Whether that something was a creature, a psychological phenomenon, or mass misidentification, we don't know. What we do know is that 46 people died when a bridge failed, and in the months before, a town lived in genuine terror. The Mothman files remain open. Not officially, there are no files. The creature was never proven, so there's nothing to investigate. But in archives and personal collections, the photographs, the witness statements, the sketches, they're still there, waiting for someone to find a pattern the rest of us missed. The truth about Mothman is this: it exists in the space between evidence and absence. Too many people saw something to dismiss entirely, too little physical proof to confirm. And maybe that's the real story, not what happened in Point Pleasant, but what it teaches us about how we process fear, how we construct meaning from chaos, and how willing we are to believe when conventional answers fail. Subscribe. Every week we examine another case where the official story doesn't quite fit, and the real answers are buried deeper than anyone expected.